to AP World History. We'll be looking at India in Chapter 3. This period is known as a classical period. It ranges from 1500 BCE to 550 CE. We know that through archaeological evidence and historians that the Indians and the Chinese connected somewhere around 321 BCE. There were two primary dynasties. We're going to look at the Mauryan and also the Gupta. Chandragupta Maurya seized power in 321 BCE, and he will establish the Mauryan Empire. He will unify northern India. He will defeat Seleucus I, who is a remnant of the Greek conquest in that area. And all of northern India will come under his rule. To support his army, he imposes taxes on the people. His primary advisor was Kautilya, who was a priest, and he helps him create a bureaucratic government that divides up the country so that it can be easier to rule. Some of the visitors that observed his empire marveled at all the good things that they saw. Chandragupta's son Ashoka will come to power, and he will further extend the empire. He is known as the Buddhist king of India because he will introduce Buddhism into the mainstream government. He was known as the bloodthirsty king of India, and then he turns into a peace-loving ruler because of his conversion to Buddhism. He believed in what they called Dharma, which was a system of law or moral consequences for your behavior. So it was a code of ethics. He was hoping that this code of ethics might unify the people. He promoted Buddhism and honored Hinduism, so they weren't really at odds at one another. He sent Buddhist missionaries to different parts of the world. He improved communication and trade, and he insisted that his government officials treat people humanely. He established pillars throughout the nation to symbolize his rule. Sanskrit was the language, similar to cuneiform. The Mauryan Empire will come to an end. Ashoka will die. There will, as far as the Buddhists are concerned, be falling away, and it will India will gradually move back to Hinduism. The Andhra dynasty will dominate central India for a while, and it will be replaced by another dynasty, the Gupta. The Tamils people living in the southern part are never conquered, and they live separate lives, and they war with their neighbors. Now, the Gupta Empire will be established, and this is sometimes known as the Golden Age of India, because there'll be a lot of advancements in science and literature and art. Chandragupta marries. This is into a northern kingdom. The dynasty will be smaller than the Mauryan dynasty, but it will promote a lot of different things that seem to lift Indian society. Samudragupta will expand the empire even more. In terms of things that they thought were important, religion, science, all art is going to flourish. During the Gupta dynasty, the majority of Indians are farmers. The farm is uses all hands to grow the crops. It's a matriarchal society under the Gupta, men being the head, the eldest man, male being the head of the family. Farmers had to contribute work to the government and pay heavy taxes. Uh, Gupta II rules from AD 375 to 415. Shakas he defeats and adds more empire to the Gupta dynasty. And things flourish, but eventually he will die and the empire will be in decline. Um, some of the accomplishments that they experienced under the Gupta were remarkable in literature, in medicine, astronomy, and in mathematics. So they're a very sophisticated society. The caste system was created during this epic period, through the epic period, which was 500 BCE, and these were by the Aryans. Um, they invaded India and helped the India in the Gupta king's rule. Um, they have a hierarchy. They say that the priests, the Brahmas, are first, the rulers, tradesmen and farmers, common laborers, and then untouchables. Untouchables were not treated as slaves, as were, you look at the mean people, they were not slaves either. They just were at the low end of the social scale. If you were born into a caste, you stayed there, and every aspect of your life was governed by what caste you were in. You had to marry within the same caste. There was no social mobility. You couldn't marry out of it. If you did marry somebody of a lower class, you moved down. So death was the only way you got out of a particular caste. Not like the Chinese, which instituted exams, and there was certainly social mobility upward if you could pass those exams. Untouchables were the outcasts. People like grave diggers, butchers, trash collectors. So they're looked down upon. Uh, Perhaps they're paying for a past sin in life. The Aryans who come to help rule India will come from the steppes of Asia. As far as basic Hindu beliefs, they have three main gods: Brahman, the creator; Vishnu, the preserver; and Shiva, the destroyer. They believe in reincarnation. They believe that your soul never dies, and eventually you'll be united with Brahma. They believe in karma. The person's personal behavior affects where you'll end up in the next life. Dharma is your duty. Um, this is an idea borrowed from the Buddhist. And do a good job, and things will work out for you. So, Dharma has to do with duty, and karma, a person's behavior. If you're doing good things, you're going to move up. Cremation, bodies are burned. That's to release the soul. Mushka, uh, or Mutska, the ultimate goal is permanent harmony with the universe. Cows are sacred, so they refuse to eat beef. They roam freely on the streets of India. The Ganges River is considered a holy river. People go there to wash away evil. 85% of the Indian people are Hindu. Siddhartha Gautama is the person who's going to establish Buddhism. Gautama is going to leave his life, go out and meditate, try to seek answers to life itself. Uh, he comes up with the idea of the middle way, that is, moderation in life. Completely simple life, one that is full of materialistic goods, isn't necessarily the best thing. You should have a balance. Sounds a little bit like uh, Taoism in India. He was looking for enlightenment or wisdom, and he seems to find that. Finally, he sits down and meditates under a tree for almost 2 months, and he now calls Buddha, which means the enlightened one, um, and Buddha began to teach others how to obtain enlightenment. So he's going to call himself the Buddha. He People are not to worship him, but they are to seek enlightenment. There are eightfold paths to enlightenment, and if you follow these things, you will lead you to nirvana, or a release from selfishness and pain. So nirvana, that heaven that you're seeking. And so if you do the right things, you can obtain great things in your life. Unlike Hinduism, which says if you're born into a caste, you stay there. Here, it's a person's efforts that determines where he ends up. They reject the caste system. They say it's not fair, unjust. Uh, there are some similarities between Hindus and Buddhists. They both believe in reincarnation, and they believe in karma and dharma. But they believe that your deeds determine where you end up, not that you are born into one thing and then you stay there and have to do good deeds and then you move to the next step. And that's the end of our story.